Right. Well, folks, when was the last time I did a movie review? Was it the Jazzman's Blues? Was that the last movie I did a review for? Well, here we are with Praise This, and it came out a few days ago, and I actually finally sat down to watch it last night, and I gotta admit, it was pretty good. But I will say this, even from the initial trailer, I thought, okay, this gives me Fighting Temptations vibes. Let It Shine. If you don't remember that film, that was if I remember correctly, the first Disney Channel original movie with a majority or, just full on black cast of characters. Coco Jones was in it, and is it William Tyler James, aka the actor who played Chris Rock on Everybody Hates Chris, and he also has a major role on Abbott Elementary on ABC. And also a little bit of Honey, one of the early Jessica Alba projects. And Chloe Bailey is the lead here. Now, when it comes to a score, what would I score this movie? I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. That would be my, score there, mainly due to the music. Because to be honest, this film itself, what you see is what you get. The trailer itself did a great job breaking down what the flow of the movie would be. Sam, played by Bailey, has to leave LA. Her father tells her, okay, your rebellious behavior, you need to, go somewhere else and calm down. It pretty much feels like the reverse of the Fresh Prince, where, one little fight and, Will's mom got scared, so he had to leave the rough neighborhood to go to the lap of luxury in Bel Air. But in this case, it's like, no, you're leaving LA to go to, a more remote location, away from the, Hollywood sign and billboards and whatnot. You're going to go to the countryside. Or that's what it felt like in comparison. I mean, as somebody who lives in, pretty much the woods where, church, we go to the church, it's like 10 minutes from the house. Everybody knows each other, that kind of place. That's kind of what it felt like watching this film. Or, when I lived in Lynchburg, which to me is a big city, and having to come back home. That's what it felt like. But in any case, we see some familiar faces. Kendrick Cross plays Sam's uncle, and if you don't remember him, Ambitions from OWN Network. He was Essen Atkins' husband in that show, and we don't know if he died in the finale because the show got canceled after season 1. But he's been in a number of other projects. But there are familiar faces all around, and I know everybody wants me to talk about Crystal. Yes, Natalie, oh my goodness, we will get to her. But in any case, it's about Sam wanting to propel her music career, but it feels like everything around her is stacked against her. Instead of LA, now she's, basically in Atlanta. Well, then again, hey, you are close to Tyler Perry Studios. Maybe you can break out your success there. Just saying. But she does meet her cousin Jess, who calls her sister cousin, and look, she was kind of like the light of the movie. That I've seen people online compare her to that one relative who is so energetic and has enthusiasm, but she's that kind of peppy person that, if you're an introvert or somebody who's at a lower frequency or level, that kind of person can get on your nerves a lot. Kind of like Donkey and Shrek. They're fun, or Olaf and Frozen. They're, hey, they're cool at first, but then they just keep going with the energy, and it's like, oh yeah, you're killing my buzz here. But yeah, it's one of those situations where, kind of like in Good Burger, where Keenan's character takes advantage of Kel's character in order to get what he wants. Keenan taking the majority money from Ed's secret sauce in order to get the money to pay back his teacher, who's I believe, didn't he get into a car? Didn't he wreck his car or something, or destroy his mailbox? No, yeah, I think he got into a fender bender or something with his teacher, and he has to pay him back. In this situation, Sam goes to choir practice or praise team practice with Jess because there's a national competition coming up. And at first, Sam isn't interested at all. But then she figures that, wait a minute, if I can get into this championship competition and do well, I can possibly get this ticket out of Atlanta and start my musical career. So, it's kind of I don't want to say unholy alliance here, but yeah, it's a family bond or friendship that's being formed. So of course, with all the practices about, within the praise team for the competition, that we're going to meet all. Look, the trailer itself did a great job of giving us a taste of the assortment of characters for this film, and each one has their own personality quirks. Some, have more defined personalities than others, or some have bigger roles than others. But that's what makes the group so interesting, those different dynamics. So whenever, they first meet compared to how they interact as the movie continues or gets from, that point in the film when Sam meets them to the ending of the film, it's just crazy to see the dynamics there. For example, you got those who are friendly towards her versus those who have the animosity because, you know how it is, that one person who leads a group and then a new member comes in and they're extremely talented, and then it's a question of, okay, well, who's the real leader now? I mean, this person, we've done it your way for so long, but it really hasn't given us the results we want, so why not, change it up a little bit? So there's always the animosity between Sam and the, de facto leader of the praise team. But regardless of the ups and downs, Sam is going to do what she needs to do, regardless of not feeling like she, I guess you could say, is religious in any way. She decides to conform for the sake of whatever it takes to achieve her dream. So from there, we meet Natalie, played by Crystal Hazlett, and just, I have nothing to say but just great. It's always great to see Tyler Perry alumni in other projects and they excel at it. So I mean, despite it being Crystal and used to seeing Fatima, I saw Natalie, her own character, her own personality, rocking that hair by the way, and the fact that she felt like an older mentor to Sam's character was truly great to see. And of course, the movie goes on to different scenes where Sam, look, I grew up in a small Baptist church, so mostly older people, so I know what it's like to have the whole, oh, don't bring that secular music in here, especially during choir practice and whatnot, when some gospel songs we couldn't even sing in youth choir because it was too, I guess you could say, I don't know, it goes against the grain. Like there are certain like Mary Mary songs or, other groups and whatnot. I mean, our church's music program, if you will, felt like dead compared to like visiting choirs and whatnot that would come in and rock the house down. That's how it felt. So yeah, when it got to the point where Sam was told to like take these secular songs and give them a gospel taste, or aka flip it for the Lord, I felt like, yeah, that wouldn't have flown in my church. But at the same time, I remember going to a couple of churches. What was it, like my grandma's church as a kid or something like that? And one of my older cousins, or second cousin, somewhere down the family line, it was an R. Kelly song, and he turned into a gospel song, and I was like, wait, you can do that? So it was pretty interesting to see that dynamic of the film. Also, if you are a non-Christian, I don't think this film is something you would not enjoy, because to be completely honest, it didn't feel like they were hammering in the gospel. I just feel like, if nothing else, by the time you finish the film, you'll be in a good mood. I'm not saying that you'll be converted, I mean, but if it does, that just lets you know that, hey, music, the message can flow in the music. But I will say this much, I think that it kind of dropped the ball here with Sam's father, because of the tension between, them from the beginning of the film. Because at the beginning of the film, there was the strained relationship between Sam and her dad, especially after she gets shipped off from LA to Atlanta. But then towards the ending of the film, that's when he shows back up, and then that tension is all gone. Remember in Honey, when Little Romeo's character, I think Benny, him and his mom had a, fractured relationship, but to be honest, I don't think they ever even shared a scene together, aside when she's cheering him on in the audience at the ending during the dance sequence. But her boyfriend or whatever gave Benny a black eye and busted his lip or something, and he I think Honey went over to the apartment to talk to her because Benny hadn't been at any of the dance rehearsals, and she wasn't for her son doing that kind of stuff. But then at the end of the film, she's just randomly in the audience cheering for her boys, but it's like that didn't feel earned. That's kind of how I feel here, where the tension stuff was at the beginning of the film, but as the movie, progressed, you kind of forget about it because so many other things happen. But from there, we get to the competition. The songs are just fire. This movie had the comedic moments. I mean, growing up in a black church myself, I laughed at so many of the like little stereotypes and things that were being said that I'm like, yep, I could see, the church mother saying this or my auntie saying that. I mean, there were just so many familiar faces, and then the fact that I could relate to so many of the religious and just the black church etiquette of this particular film. This was definitely something I enjoyed, and I will probably watch again very soon. It's on my to-do list to watch it again later this week. I'll probably watch it, when I'm working on my Zatima videos, because this week is the finale of that particular show, or should I say mid-season finale for season 2A. But yeah, I give this movie, 7 out of 10. I think it did a great job of demonstrating that, just because there's a traditional way of doing things, that doesn't mean you have to live by said tradition. When it comes to like the gospel, for example, yes, there is something very genuine about bringing people to Christ in person. But at the same time, we live in a day and age where you can reach so many more people than you could back in the day, due to the internet and whatnot. And when it comes to music, yes, there is a secular world, but if you just look at people and judge them because they dress a certain way, they talk a certain way, they live a lifestyle that's, different from how you do it, and you're a Christian, that doesn't mean you can't relate to them on some level. I mean, think of it this way. Jesus was looked down upon by the people in the temple because it's like, look, what's he doing with the common folks? I mean, what kind of, savior is he? He's over there just, speaking with these sinners and whatnot, because they put themselves on a pedestal above those who they claim to care about. All they cared about was power and money. But when it comes to the gospel like this, yeah, I could see some people being like, nah, I don't know about that. You taking this like twerking song and making it about God. But at the same time, if you're bringing people to Christ, I mean, come on now. There's more than one way. Hang on, I forgot the dang catchphrase. There's more than one way to skin a fish. Wait, or tuna fish. Crap, I ruined the joke. But I'm not going to edit it out because I'm lazy. But in any case, there's more than one way to get things done. 1 + 1 = 2, but 3 - 1 also equals 2. Just because your way worked doesn't mean it's the only way that works. So yeah, I think there's a great message in this film. But like I said, it does remind me of like the Fighting Temptations and whatnot, where the soundtrack alone is worth the price of admission. Chloe Bailey, great job. I think that if nothing else, we got more of her singing chops than acting chops. But that's really due to the fact that the movie itself played more for the comedic aspect of it, and the fact that, her whole character was about the music. But I think she did a decent job as the lead. Her cousin Jess was probably my favorite character, just because of the fact that we all know a person like Jess. But at the same time, I think my standout character was definitely Natalie, because of the fact that she had the older, wise mentor dynamic going on here. But yeah, of course, in a film like this, as I mentioned before, some characters get more shine than others. But that's mainly because it's such a big cast, and there were so many quotable lines from the film. I will say that there were so many quotable lines from the film. So with that being said, yeah, I highly recommend this movie to anybody who wants to check it out or curious. I definitely will play it later on this week. And the soundtrack is available on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, so go check it out as well. And congratulations to Crystal Hazlett, because her song from the film, she got a solo, Nothing Else, charted at 81 on iTunes Top 100. And the album itself, once it became available to stream, it reached number 11. So yeah, hopefully the numbers keep going up as the days go on. But with that being said, what did you think of Praise This? Who was, or, did you have a couple of favorite characters? Did you have any standout lines of dialogue? Whatever the case may be, let's talk about it in the comment section below, and I will talk to you in the next one.